Games are becoming increasingly popular, growing from just a few bytes of data to a few terabytes. War games in particular have taken a more realistic approach, and in this video I'm going to take a look at these 4 games and show how closely they adhere to the rules of war. War happens all over the world and kills a lot of people. But who will protect those who are not at war, but are still affected by it? The Red Cross helps set up many of the rules of war in place and agreed upon by hundreds of countries today. The first game on the list is Battlefield: Bad Company. This is a console-based game that tells the story of a squad of US Army rejects called B Company. The player takes control of an unlikely soldier who has just been reassigned to the group whose missions are said to be next to impossible. The first campaign sees the soldiers infiltrating a village, which has been taken over by a Russian army squad. It's not clear from the story or the environment what exactly happened to the residents of the village. There are burnt out cars and destroyed bridges and buildings everywhere. Looking around the game, there is no given reason to assume that the citizens all got out safely. Perhaps an evacuation sign or two dotted around the place might suggest that. The game also encourages players to destroy the environment around them to their advantage. This includes destroying forests, which goes against the international rules of war. The environments must not be used as a weapon. Also, hidden throughout each level are containers of gold, which the player is expected to take. This gold is positioned in the buildings of the villages. By taking the gold, the soldiers are changing their motives for war, which is also breaking the international rules of war. I've given this game a 3 out of 10 for its compliance with the conventions set out by the Red Cross and its subsidiaries. Battlefield Heroes is up next. This is an online cartoon shooter which attempts to bring a little lightheartedness to shoot 'em up war games with the use of sound effects and character motions. While the gameplay is very similar to other popular shoot 'em ups, there are a number of issues that may be considered violations of rules of war. While the levels are set on islands with villages and farms, attacking buildings doesn't cause any permanent damage, which is good. However, while there are no civilians seen in the game, the smoking chimneys suggest that they occupy the buildings. Perhaps more run-down, war-torn and obviously evacuated villages might be a suggestion. Another issue that may raise concern is that the game encourages players to dress up the soldiers in a humorous or ambiguous way, and some costumes make it difficult to distinguish the characters as soldiers, which is against the international rules of war. As these are the only issues I could find, I've given this game a compliance of 5 out of 10. Next is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. There are a number of examples and missions and objectives in this game with complete disregard to any international humanitarian laws. In this mission, the player must control a gunner attached to the side of a helicopter and try to hit targets as the helicopter flies above the town below. With the distance the helicopter is from the ground, there is no way they can safely hit the enemies without causing substantial damage to town buildings with this weapon. A simple warning is given to watch out for friendlies, but this does not justify consideration for any IHL laws that may be broken during this mission. Perhaps offering the use of a different type of gun, for example a sniper rifle, might offer a solution. I've given this game a low 2 out of 10 for its lack of consideration for the international rules of war and international humanitarian laws. And lastly, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. The idea of this game is that the players control a secret squad of soldiers in the US Army, codenamed the Ghosts, who are sent to try stop wars before they happen. Since there are no actual wars declared at the moment of attacks during the game, any fatal actions taken by the Ghosts may be considered as vigilant and classed as executions. However, the objectives set upon the Ghosts are to stop certain groups of terrorists from causing major damage to the public, so should the Ghosts succeed, they would disappear without a trace. As this was the only concern I could find, I have rated this game with a 7 out of 10. As you can see, some of these games acknowledge the international rules of war, but the majority of them don't. Perhaps the game designers just wanted to fulfill the player's urge to pull the trigger.